Hey, it's the right Rican. Um, and well, today let's talk about how there was more rioting, another police shooting, and like what is it? Um, the Twins, the Timberwolves, and the Wild. I think so. All the sports teams canceled whatever games they had um, ahead of what's going on in Minnesota again. Like I said, there was another shooting. It looks like there's going to be more rioting going on, and it's like, when are we going to learn? Look, it's like with all this going on, a story came out this weekend about one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement bought a mansion in Los Angeles, and so hey, people who donated, look where your money went. That's what these people do. They need the division. They want the division because they get to make money off the division. They get to make money off of this stuff, of all the hate and the anger that everybody bottles up. And it's the fact that they feed this stuff. They don't make it better. You know, making race specific policy decisions, making race specific um, laws, talking about there was a farmers aid bill for people of color, and that's it. um, Separate graduations. If you look at this is um, what are we going backwards? And that's why when people say that, when us on the right, when we say that Democrats and the left are racist, this is what we're talking about. What's it any different than the Democrats from the 60s calling that, in the 50s, wanting segregation, and now they're wanting segregation again? It's a cycle. And this is, excuse me for a second. So yeah, I think, um, got to get my train of thought back. I believe I was talking about how so the you can see how the left was going, with segregation in the 50s and the 60s, and it's coming back now with graduations and housing. And so, how is that any different? How is it empowering? How is it different than what was going on? Um, we're going backwards, and all it's doing is destroying this country. You know, I just don't understand why people don't see that. And there's people who don't see it. There's people who see it and want it to happen. That's the whole thing. You have people here that want the destruction of our country. They want they want socialism here so bad that they're willing to tear apart the country to get it. And they think that because they're the ones in charge, they would be the ones in charge, things would be better. And that's the fallacy of Marxism in all its forms, whether it's fascism, whether it's socialism, uh, whether it's communism. All forms of Marxism have the hubris of thinking that because they're the ones in charge, it's going to be different this time. And that's what goes on. Um, you in order to rely on systems, you have to rely on people. And people are people get lazy, people get comfortable. um Not everyone, not everyone works the same at the same level. Not everyone Um, if you can't even, you have parents who raise their kids all the same, raised kids, and you have one kid that's a junkie and one kid that's a lawyer. You just don't know. We're all different. Um, but on the left, they treat that, um, if there's not an equality of outcome, then there's some sort of discrimination, and that's just a fallacy. We're all different. Um, uh, Sorry, I'm not a little under the weather. I have a little infection, so a little um, throat infection. So if I'm trying not to get myself overworked, uh, so my throat won't hurt me. But I still wanted to soldier through it and just get something across of what's going on. uh, more riots that are going to go on. And I'm sure this happened in Minnesota, and I'm pretty sure I'm hoping not, but you're going to see riots across the country because this is what happens all the time now. People don't wait to see what facts are out, and they just want to jump to the conclusion. And, you know, I've avoided talking about the Chauvin trial because honestly, everybody's talking about it. I'm not going to speculate just because the fact that everyone goes, oh, about the video. No one's seen the whole video. Everyone just seen the time, just the end of it. That's it. Not a lot of people who has seen what happened before the famous video. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out on the trial, and we'll see. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is what's going on is there's forces in this country that taking advantage of the um, racial divisions in the country because class division didn't work, and that's the whole thing about Marxism was about getting the classes to combine. And since America has a big middle class, the bigger middle class you have, the less likely socialism is to prosper in a country. And that's what's going on. It's we, so because class didn't work, they went to race, and that's what's going on right now. It's a culmination. It was a long game. It's a long game, and it's going to be a long game to get us out of it. Um, so, we have to get people to see the stuff that's going on. We have to, this whole thing, like I said, you can see where these Black Lives Matter donations are going to. They're not going. Why is it that someone on the right wing was going around raising money to clean up clean up LA, clean up Baltimore? Why hasn't Black Lives Matter used that money to do that stuff? Why haven't they gone into, if they're worried about shootings and all that stuff and deaths, why not go into Chicago and try to use some of that money that they've gotten to get programs to stop the violence, not just the gun violence, because that's what everybody wants to talk about, just the violence going on in these countries. I mean, these cities. It's why um, I'm more libertarian when it comes to drugs. Where I go, we need to decriminalize some of the drugs, and so like that, instead of jailing users, we could get them treatment. Um, get a drug like marijuana, where I know I got my conservative friends that disagree with me, but like I said, I'm more libertarian. I go, whatever you put into your body is your business. As long as you're old enough to do it, then by all means, 21 and over, you want to smoke up, go right ahead. I think it's better that we legalize it. At least then we could regulate it like we do alcohol, make sure that, regulate the levels of THC and all that stuff. So like that, it's a safer product. So like that, you don't got people buying it out in the street and getting it laced with like PCP or, um, back in the day, I remember people used to talk about putting like roach spray in it. It's it, what they used to do to help, to make people get a bigger high out of it. So we need to work on these things, um, to get our communities better. But redoing segregation and calling it empowerment is not what's gonna bring us together. It's gonna push us further apart. And every time there's an incident where we don't wait for the facts to come out, where, especially where with the media, it's, it bleeds, it leads, it's, we have a country of over 300 million people, and anytime there's a black white incident, it's on the news. If it's a white white, black black, um you don't hear it about it, and that's a problem too. So all I'm saying is, people be careful right now. It's a powder keg out there. People that, if you got family that lives in big cities, have them, um, probably stock up on some food and water, because if you get bad riots, we get back to what happened in the summer. They may use that as a, say coronavirus numbers are going up. We need to lock down again. Um, so just be prepared for anything. Like I said, food, water. Make sure you have at least a week's worth. I know, like in government pages, it says 3 days. No, make sure you have a week's worth of water and food, for you and your family. Uh, have some medical supplies. Whether Make sure you have like peroxide and alcohol, some iodine, stuff like that, to make sure, just in case if anything bad happens, you could take care of yourself. You people in the city, I know this is going to sound funny, but have some sort of stick, bat, or something. People who, like in the rural areas, make sure you have guns and ammo. You need to hunt or something like that. You want to take care of yourselves in case anything crazy happens. Like I said, we saw in the summer with all the riots. So, but just be careful, uh, and be prepared. With that being said, the Right Rican. I'm on YouTube and Rumble. On social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, and Parlor. Yeah. Like I said, dealing under the weather here, so I'm just pushing through. Hope you like my content, and um, just leave me comments. Follow me in those channels, and uh, until next time.